But unlike Biden, he doesn't have like handlers. You know, like he's basically just like raw dogging dementia. like like Biden, you know, people were walking him everywhere. Like you know, every step he took was monitored. Okay, Trump, I feel like is a little, you know, he's acting more independently than Biden, certainly. But I think his dementia has progressed to about the same point, if not worse. I also think that he's better at masking it. And that's another thing. You know, I've talked about it before, I think, how Trump like hides his dementia. And I think he is better at hiding it. But that doesn't mean that he's like when I say he's better at hiding it, I mean like he has progressed further than it seems. We're gonna react to a leaflet.
Another video.
This is a video about Destiny. It looks pretty interesting. Let's see what Destiny's
by based Mentis Wave. Destiny accidentally debunks himself. Let's check it out.
Hey internets, so when going through my backlog and back searching my name a bit, I made the discovery that Destiny had attempted to debunk a couple of my videos. Which is kind of fair because I've used him as an example in some of my own refutations. Mainly because for those of you out there, few who don't know who Destiny is, he's kind of your typical lefty liberal type who largely gives
Which is why it was particularly funny to see the Destiny like whenever you see like it's like you have the Destiny versus Hassan stuff, which is hilarious, and then the Destiny plus Andrew Wilson team up I never thought I would ever see in my life. Those were both incredible.
Partisan pro-DNC takes. His shtick is to basically take mainstream media propaganda aimed at liberal boomers and rehash that propaganda to make it more palatable to Zoomers. And he does that by funneling it through a more react/streamer/debate bro type of content.
Yep.
No, you're so stupid. You're so out of touch. Am I so out of touch? No. Does anybody know any Zoomers that watch fucking Destiny? Anybody? Look, I don't think Gen Z is his demographic. I don't think so. Destiny, his target demographic is like people a little younger than him, but not Gen Z. Okay, like late 20s, mid to late 20s, or maybe early 30s, men. That's his target demographic. And like, look, tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm fucking wrong. Go look at his community. I don't know. Go get on his Discord or whatever. Okay, Zoom is Gen Z. Gen Z, really, bro? You think he's You think he's tight with the Zoomers like this? The fuck are you talking about, man? I think the only Zoomers that even like think of Destiny as a household name or whatever would be people like me who were on the internet way back. But we were like, I've been terminally online for most of my life, you know, and like any other Zoomers that are the same, they know what I'm talking about because of the Destiny versus JonTron thing. Okay, anybody that was like on the internet a lot back then, like we all knew about that, you know. But outside of that, like there aren't any fucking Zoomers watching Destiny, man. Are you high? Anyway,
it tends to be a bit more relatable for those of us who grew up with the internet. But anyways, in this video I'm going to
anyway, there's one more thing I wanted to say, and that is if you don't know who Destiny is, if you're fortunate enough, okay, he's a lot like Bill Maher. Okay, he's like a Bill Maher type liberal, and I'm pretty sure he hates Bill Maher. I could be wrong about that. So he might consider that an insult, but I'm telling you, he's just like Bill Maher. He literally hits all the Bill Maher notes. Okay, smarmy, over intellectualized liberal, hates Muslims, thinks that they're savages, even though he's like an atheist or agnostic or something. He believes in Judeo-Christian Western values. You know, just like a real classic kind of liberal. You know, like a real classical liberal. Okay, I'm talking like 40s era liberal. Okay, and anyway, he just he loves saying the N-word. He loves saying slurs, especially the N-word. He used to say it all the time, but then he cut back, and now he kind of gets off on, instead of saying the N-word in public, he just says that he says the N-word in private in public, if that makes sense. So like he's publicly stated, like, I say the N-word in private. And it kind of gets the same job done, you know? Like it's kind of the same thing as just saying it. So, anyway, who knows if he'll go back to saying slurs. I think that would be epic. I think that would be really cool. I'd love to see the Destiny regression. Because it's like I always say, you know, I like my Nazis where I can see them. You know, I like them out in the open. I like my racist out in the open.
His attempted debunking. Anyway, there won't be a sponsor for this video, but I will be continuing the taxation is theft merch sale. Instead, I'll just get right into things. Starting with just some basic context for those of you who haven't seen these videos that Destiny is responding to. He firstly went over my video on Trump derangement syndrome, and then my video on Mull insurrection. With the TLDR of my video on
Trump derangement syndrome is so fucking dumb to me because he's the fucking president. He's the president of the United States of America. Like, you know, I'm not saying like we should literally be obsessed with him. I'm saying it's like, it's not obsession to scrutinize and to hold up a magnifying glass to the president of America.
Yes, okay, being that crazy. A lot of people interpret everything Trump does or says in the most bad faith way that they can possibly interpret.
Guys, I gotta, you know, okay, let me just buy it. So I'm gonna forget, and then the sale's gonna. Okay, I bought my Mantis Wave merch. I like his merch. I think they're good. He's like one of the only creators I actually buy merch from. I bought like 3 things so far from Mantis. Like, actually.
It makes it actually harder for a video on TDS.
He reminds me of Solar Sands. For some reason, anybody remember Solar Sands?
Being that a lot of people interpret everything Trump does or says the most bad.
I want to do an ass mug, but the problem is, mugs are really heavy, and we do all of our own shipping, so we would have to like drop ship it or something. Like, we'd have to do like a
I feel like this guy kind of ripped off his whole style from Solar Sands. I could be wrong.
Sort of a service for that, and yeah, I mean, would you guys be interested in that? Like, should I make a mug, like a logo mug or something? Yeah, maybe I will. I'll see.
No, nobody's
what
gonna
I really
buy
want
that.
is a camp mug, like a camp style mug. Anyway.
Just shut the fuck
TDS
up.
Being that a lot of people interpret everything Trump does or says in the most bad faith way that they can possibly interpret it, which then makes it actually harder for legitimate criticisms of Donald Trump to get through to people, because it's drowned in a sea of people whining about every stupid little thing.
Dude, that's so true. Like, anytime you hear somebody criticize Trump now, you're just like, shut up. You know what I mean? Like, you're just like, yeah, shut up, TDS, dude, shut up.
Yeah,
it's so hard
we
to
know. We know. Yeah, just shut up. Just stop talking about it. Just stop talking about it. Just stop doing it. Just stop talking about it. No. We're not. Okay? You don't have to listen. You can plug your ears, shut your eyes all you want. It's not gonna stop us. What the fuck? Because, like, and it's crazy to like, tell people to shut up now. Now, of all times. Like we are probably at a point where, no, we are definitely at a point where, like, it's the unprecedentedness is unprecedented. Okay, it's crazy. Like, the shit that's going, like, Trump first admin, it was pretty wild. Okay, it was pretty crazy. But like this year has been like 8 administrations over. It's been like, it was like the first admin times 8 in the first year. Okay, remember when Trump, he got some insider info in his first admin, and he sold all that stock. I want to say it was like 2019. I forgot what it was. It might have been for steel. It might have been for steel maybe. Anyway, he sold off a bunch of stock because he got insider info. He found out it was about to crash. And liberals lost their fucking minds. Okay, cut forward to now. Okay, fast forward to now, and Donald Trump, day one, did a shitcoin rug pull scam on his first day. He did a shitcoin rug pull scam, bro. Like what are we talking about? He his first admin, I think he sold some Trump merch. You know, he sold some Trump merch. Okay, he's always done that. Okay, he's always sold Trump shit that sucks. Here's what he does. Okay, he buys something in bulk, steaks, watches, some bullshit like that. He slaps his name on it, and it sucks. And then he sells it to dumbasses. Okay, that's what he's always done. That's always been his plan, and it works. But anyway, I feel like, and maybe I'm wrong about this, but he didn't really do it that much in the first admin. But like, what all is he? He's had watches. He had the shoes. He had sneakers, right? He had the crypto. Okay, he's had like a whole line of shit. Right, like glasses, I think. Right? Like, what the fuck is next, man? Trump butt plugs? What the fuck are we doing? Aren't you supposed to be the president? Aren't you supposed to be doing, like, president shit? Why are you peddling watches? Sneakers. What?
Seriously? And what it does is it's kind of the same. It's very similar to, like, the whole,
Sorry,
Nazi fascist, homophobe,
that was my
racist.
TDS
It's kind of like the same thing.
Sorry,
where
man.
it's been said so much that it drowns out anytime it's real. Right? Like anytime it's real, you can't even tell anymore. Because everyone's just like, yeah, I heard that before. Yeah, whatever. Right? The boy you cried wolf, totally. That's totally what it is. Like, every
that Donald Trump does, regardless of relevance. And then the TLDR of my video on the insurrection was just about the January 6th Capitol riot, and how while it was definitely a display of poor behavior on the part of the Republicans, trying to call it an actual serious insurrection attempt to overthrow the United States government is a bit of a stretch. It's an argument that doesn't really make much sense, and requires people to use a very broad definition of what is considered a quote-unquote insurrection, to the point where that word basically loses all meaning and forfeits a lot of its negative connotations. But yeah, enough babbling on about it. Let's actually get into some clips now. It really means that we are about to see a lot more TDS than we normally see. I imagine much of mainstream journalists will return to a state of TDS. I imagine that a lot of what RedTube's content will look like will just be 4 years of TDS. Basically, we're going to see a lot of TDS and a lot of people talking about TDS. And the issue with that is that a lot of people talk about TDS or show signs of TDS with nobody knowing what TDS actually is. And that's what this video is going to remedy.
Yes, finally, let's talk about it. So, ever run into a pesky piece of shit who seems to be destroying every single thing the Trump admin is doing with facts and logic? Well, now we've created a clever shortcut called TDS, so that every single time somebody gives a criticism against dear leader Donald Trump, you can easily dismiss every single thing they say by simply calling them deranged. LOL.
True.
Wait, that's what we're saying. Wait a minute. Wait, base? Wait, what?
And the content will look like will just be 4 years of TDS. Yes, every single thing the Trump admin is run into is. And that's what this video is going to remedy. Yes, finally, let's talk about it. So, ever run into a pesky piece of shit who seems to be destroying every single thing the Trump admin is doing with facts and logic? Well, now we've created a clever shortcut called TDS, so that every single time somebody gives a criticism against dear leader Donald Trump, you can easily dismiss every single thing they say by simply calling them deranged. LOL.
So immediately, Destiny is kind of displaying a lot of the problems that comes with the sort of reaction lab content that he does. And that it's often done from a standpoint of doing absolutely no freaking research into what you're reacting to or attempting to quote-unquote debunk. Because first of all, the entire point of my video was not to defend Donald Trump. If you watch it to the end, that actually becomes pretty darn clear. And so I'm not hand-waving away any...
What Menta says makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, well, the point is that Trump derangement syndrome is typically a tool to dismiss valid criticism against the president. Like, if I say Trump did a shitcoin rug pull on the first day of his second administration as president of fucking America. If you say that that is TDS, I say that that is invalid. You're dismissing me, and you're saying, like, you're obsessed with Trump. When I'm just saying what he did. And I'm saying it's bad. That's not derangement. And so, are there people who are, like, unhealthily obsessed with Trump? Yeah, I mean, there are people like that for every president, sure. But, like, a majority of what you dumb fucks are calling TDS is just valid criticism. It's just valid criticism. It's just like stating reality. And you're like, that's TDS, rent free. It's dumb, it's stupid. We're just saying it's dumb, it's stupid. That's all.
100%.
Do better.
Is that when you do want to criticize Donald Trump, and there are things, and like I criticize Donald Trump.
There are
that
things
you can criticize
I do.
Donald Trump, and
I've literally never heard you criticize your big beautiful president. Literally never. Okay, I'm not even saying she's lying, but like my point is it's very far and few between. Okay, and it's like there is so much material to work with here. Like Donald Trump has done so much bullshit as president, as not the president. Okay, and anyway, like if you were a sane person, which you're not, Deflate, you're a fucking crazy, you're a crazy person. If you were sane, you would recognize at least like half of the shit and talk about it, but you never do. You never talk. You always defend him. You always defend him. Always. Didn't you defend him recently about the Epstein shit? Not the emails, but like something before that. I can't remember. I can't remember, dog. But it's just like, why? Like if anybody is obsessed with Donald Trump, if anybody has, actual Trump derangement syndrome, it's the people who obsessively defend him. Like, dude, he's like openly talked about sexually assaulting multiple women, and that was before he got elected the first time. And y'all still elected him. I mean, we elected him. We, as Americans, elected him. It's crazy. It's crazy to me. Anyway,
you make it so much harder for anyone to take it seriously. Because it's like, oh yeah, I heard that before. Yeah, Trump doing something bad. Yeah, I heard that. Whatever, don't care anymore, right? And that's kind of the scenario that they've
criticism
created.
of Trump as Trump derangement syndrome. Rather, the point is actually exactly the opposite. My point is that we need to make sure that any criticism of Trump is genuine criticism of Trump, and not just partisan nonsense that's whining about Trump because he's Trump. Especially when the lefties whine about Trump doing effectively the same thing.
Nobody's doing that. Like you act like people purely hate Trump for his identity, right? Like, oh, y'all just hate him because he's Trump. Like, what? No, we don't like him because of the things that he has done. Like literally rape women. Probably children, too. He's probably a child diddler. Right? That's highly likely. Him and Bill Clinton, they're like two peas in a pod. Like, dude, I need MAGA people to understand this, but the problem is if they ever understood this, they wouldn't be behind Trump anymore. They wouldn't defend him. I mean, I don't know what would happen then. Okay, fucking collapse. Or maybe an actual good revolution, perhaps. But anyway, what I need them to understand is that Trump is friends with all of these people. Okay, he's friends with Bill Clinton. He's friends with Hillary. They're all friends behind closed doors. Okay, they duke it out in public, on stage. It's theater. That's what it is. Trump is probably a pedophile, and so are all the rest of them. And, for a long time, I denied this. I didn't want to believe it. Growing up, I was not averse to conspiracy theories. I've said this before, I went on 4chan a lot, okay, and when you go on 4chan, at least back then, there was a lot of, what we would now call schizo posting. Politicians are lizard people, they're controlled by a Jewish cabal or something, yada yada. Okay. And of course, the idea of an elite pedophile ring at the top of the government was always just a common thing that people would bring up. But I never believed it. I thought it was stupid. I thought Pizzagate was stupid. I was there for that shit. I saw that unfold. It was crazy. Okay? But anyway, I just, like, I always thought, like, oh, there's no way, like, there's no way all these, like, powerful men in government are pedophiles. That would be crazy. I was wrong. I was so wrong. And it's taken a while for me to get to this point, but yeah. Yeah, I was so fucking wrong. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Like, I don't know what to say anymore. Like, this is it. So anyway, like, I don't think Brandon is a pedophile. I don't think he was a pedophile. But I still criticized him when he was president. Okay, so like me, a leftist, a person that votes Democrat every election, I criticized Joe Brandon, and he's not even a fucking pedophile. I don't think. Probably not. I haven't seen any evidence of it. Okay. But anyway, like, Trump is definitely a pedophile. Like, he's gotta be. This is crazy. This is crazy. The shit that keeps coming out, like, and as soon as he said, unbelievable, you know, it's a desecration. As soon as he said that shit, I knew, man. It's over.
Obama or
it's
Biden
so
or even
over, dude.
There's a lot of things you can say that are negative about Trump that are also true. For instance, his tariff plans have not been going over so well. He has not meaningfully lowered taxation in any way, at least not nearly enough to actually benefit the economy. The trade war in general.
Well, what happened? Weren't we supposed to remove weren't we supposed to be like, oh yeah, we're gonna do tariffs so that we can remove income taxes? What happened to that? What happened to that shit? You know, like, I don't know, where'd that go? I heard people saying that. I heard.
Shut up and take your stimmy, peasant.
People saying that Trump was going to do that, but, you know.
What he's been doing, but especially the trade war with Canada has been especially unnecessary. The Doge cuts weren't anywhere near enough. The cuts to government spending that he has done have been milquetoast at best. And of course, we saw a continuation of Biden's policy where Israel is supposedly entitled to infinity plus $1 billion American taxpayer dollars.
True.
But lastly,
these are all, like, actually my same criticisms of Trump. These are the exact same things I worry about.
Most importantly
as well.
is that he's kind of done the typical two-party scam. One of the issues with our two-party system is that Democrats tend to push things further down the line of authoritarianism and socialism while they are in power, and then Republicans, once they get into power, they don't really do anything to reverse what the Democrats did. And so the Dems make the status quo worse, and then the Republicans maintain that status quo.
Yeah, guys, we're conservatives. We're conserving. They don't conserve shit. They don't conserve anything. All they do is squish a little bit, and they squish a little bit more, and then, like, when they're like bad Republicans, they're like a little bit less squishy. But they're all squishy. And they're always, none of them are ever fighting for actual going back to how, like, actually fixing the issues that we have, that actual, like, conservative people have, like, with the system. Like, they're not actually working on fixing any of it. They're just like, we're just going to maintain what we have and, like, not let them push a little bit more.
No shit. That's because Republicans have no actual policy, okay? Democrats, say what you will about them, sometimes they got the policy. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they got good policy. Republicans never have good policy. It's tax cuts for the rich all the way. All the way, every time. That's what it is, okay? Working people, they get... It's not an exaggeration to say working people get zero benefit from Republican representatives. Like, they do literally nothing for us. Democrats, on the other hand, they do stuff sometimes. They do good shit for Americans. It's just most of the time they lose because they love losing and they want to lose. And then most of the time when they win, they do nothing. They let the Republicans steamroll them. Okay, why? Because Democrats are morally superior. That's right. That's right. They take the high road. Yep. Yeah, man. Anyway.
You like to push a little bit, you know, it's okay.
Let's keep going.
It's like
the TLDR
every
of the
fucking
scam
time,
that American
man.
politics has been kind of stuck.
And I think that's like the reason why people like Trump so much is, you know, even if Trump didn't do, like, you know, there's a lot of things that Trump didn't do. He's the first one that actually was like, okay, guys, you know what? Yeah, we're actually going to send, like, ICE in, and we're actually going to start getting illegals. And that's, I think a lot of people, that's the reason why they were excited for Trump, is because he's literally the only one that's like doing that kind of stuff.
stuck in for quite a long time. And so Destiny's jumping in, attempting to refute my video while thinking that I'm some kind of diehard Trump supporter. I'm not. I'm not a Republican. I'm a Hoppian Mises.
But see, the thing is, right, is they're gonna try to.
I've made that clear many times. I do not blindly support everything that Trump does. I just think that Trump is the lesser evil compared to the other choice we had, Kamala Harris. And that, by the way, is not exactly a high bar. And by not even attempting to understand that, Destiny's just arguing against the point that I'm not even making. Because the standard reaction content that he tends to do kind of demands that he has some kind of reputation before he's actually watched enough to understand what it is he's even refuting. Anyways, next clip. Rather than trying to understand what Trump is actually saying or actually trying to do what he really means, persons who suffer from TDS will always engage in those bizarre leaps of logic in order to find the most unhinged interpretation of what Trump has done.
Wait, what am I interpreting incorrectly here? Trump says he's conditioning aid to California following LA wildfires. That was impeachable. By the way, there's like 20 different things that Trump's done that is impeachable. Donald Trump playing political games with FEMA funds is fucking disgusting, okay? It's absolutely fucking disgusting. He did it in his first term, and he continued to do it in the second term. It's gross. But all I did here was make an assassination joke, so I don't even know what this has to do with interpreting him incorrectly, but okay.
Okay, here's a little pro tip. If you're trying to prove that TDS doesn't exist, freaking out and then saying that Donald Trump has done 20 impeachable things without actually naming what those specific things are is probably not a good way to prove that you don't have TDS. In fact, that's pretty much how you prove that you do have TDS.
I mean, he hasn't done... I don't think 20 is an exaggeration. Okay. I could name a few. Like insider trading. And while many politicians are also guilty of insider trading, and I think that they should be removed from office too, it's worth noting that Donald Trump has done a lot more insider trading, especially this year. So, yeah. There's that. Also, he probably diddled children with Jeffrey Epstein, with his best buddy, Jeffrey Epstein. So, I think he should be impeached. That's just me, though. That's just
TDS is definitely a thing because Destiny just demonstrated TDS for us right there. Now, Trump has done a lot of dumb stuff, for sure, but every time he does something even remotely impeachable, we've seen that the Democrats will pounce on it pretty much immediately. And so he's actually done
Everyone knows that a lot of the things that they've gone after Trump are like absolute bullshit. And like
then he doesn't get impeached, though.
Well, things. Then the Democrats should have managed to get Trump out of office by now. But of course, that's not the real problem with Destiny's argument here. The real issue is that...
Isn't it funny how everyone that tried to do that to Trump is like, turns out they've been doing a lot of bad stuff themselves. Interesting.
He's complaining about Trump playing politics with federal money, which is ridiculous because he obviously doesn't actually believe that on principle. Both the Democrats and the Republicans play politics with Fed money all the time. Whether it's FEMA funds or USAID funds or military funds or educational funds or whatever, it's all, in the end, just ultimately taxpayer dollars. And both...
I hate it when dumb fucking people do this shit. Sorry, it is very difficult for me to be good faith with fucking Leaflet. Okay, I've been watching her for too long, and I've formed a parasocial relationship, and I just hate her. You know, I really do. I despise her, and so it's hard for me to operate in good faith. But anyway, what she just did there is she just like said some bullshit, vague statement that she's not gonna, follow up anything with it, obviously. But I hate it when people fucking do that, dude. I don't like it. Like, it's like I always say, be specific. If you're gonna make a claim, be as specific as possible. It's okay to miss details. It's okay to forget things. Okay, like I make vague statements occasionally as well. I try not to. But like sometimes I go back and watch my videos and I'm like, damn, like I could have elaborated there. And that's why I do it, But anyway, what were we talking about?
Major parties regularly use taxpayer dollars as a form of influence peddling in order to grant themselves more power. Yeah, I mean, just go looking back at the Doge cuts recently and how they showed that a lot of USAID funds was just the Democrats spending taxpayer dollars in order to influence the media in their favor. It's just a type of behavior that politicians do all the time, unfortunately. And of course, back when Biden was doing it, Destiny actually was just defending him on that. He didn't complain about it when it was the Democrats in the White House. And so the only real consistent difference here is that basically it's Trump. He's mad because Trump is the one doing it. And that is a perfect example of Trump derangement syndrome. There's no consistency to their logic other than orange man lay bad. And then of course the cherry on top of it is that he downplays his quote-unquote assassination joke. joke. Ah, yes, LMAO, person I don't like deserves to die. Lol, so funny. What a joke. Yeah, no, sorry, saying that people deserve to die and advocating for political violence is not funny at all. The only thing that's funny here is that he's completely proving my point about TDS without intending to. But wait, it gets even better. Next clip. Mainstream media, NBC News. Trump suggests he could use military force to acquire...
So, you're never gonna catch me defending Destiny. Like, I'm not gonna... And I haven't been doing that, really. Because, you know, I don't know if I've said this in this video or during this stream, but Destiny is a vile, evil person, I think. And you know, oh, evil, that's reductive. Well, you know, sure. If you want to, like, say, like, true evil doesn't exist, okay, whatever. Like, oh, everybody's the hero of their own story. Like, you know, my point is, like, Destiny is a really bad guy. Really bad person. I don't know him. I don't know him personally, but I know that. Okay. No. Yeah, never mind. Okay. My point is I'm not defending Destiny here. But, like, Destiny is not really saying anything wrong yet. We'll see if that changes, but, like, this is just, you know, basically, to summarize what has been said so far, Destiny is saying, you know, it's valid to criticize the president. It's not Trump derangement syndrome. And Mentis Wave is saying, oh no, it is Trump derangement syndrome because it's not criticism that I agree with. And it's like, okay, alright. Very cool. Trump should be impeached. He should be impeached today. You know, it's hard to say if really anything is impeachable anymore because of the presidential power ruling. Okay, like presidential immunity or whatever. Like, obviously impeachment is still possible, but like there is a certain level of scrutiny that has been applied to presidents of the past that is not being applied to the current president. And if you disagree with that, I don't even know what to tell you. Okay, we impeached Bill Clinton because he got a blowjob in the Oval Office and lied about it. Okay, Richard Nixon was about to get impeached and removed before he resigned. Okay, because he bugged in office. Okay, it's just like this is tame compared to what Trump is doing. I don't, like, people are just not paying attention. Like, I don't know. I don't know, man. It's crazy.
And McNeil in Greenland, an economic force to annex Canada. And yet, when you look at the actual conversation, it quickly reveals itself to be a standing load. What Trump actually stated is that he wants the United States to purchase Greenland. And then someone asked him if he would rule out the military. And the thing is, Trump being Trump, he of course didn't rule it out because Trump...
Oh! Trump being Trump! I forgot it was just Trump being Trump. My bad. Oh, why don't we ever talk about TDSS, which is Trump dick suck syndrome, which is where every single unhinged statement Donald Trump makes can be excused through some leap of faith that he's just saying random memes, except when he's not. When Trump talked about terraforming the entire world, that was just a joke until it wasn't. When Trump talked about renegotiating borders with Canada...
Is this where the rumors came from? Is this where they came from? Trump dick-sucking syndrome?
Or annexing Greenland, or whatever for the Panama Canal.
Hold on. No, the rumors came from... First of all, Destiny is openly bisexual. I think he's something. I don't give a fuck. Okay, I don't actually know his sexuality. I don't know if he's bisexual, but I do know that he is, like, openly attracted to men. Okay, which is fine. You know, I don't have a fucking problem with that. I'm lived up to my eyeballs. I'm woke as fuck, bitch. But anyway, Anyway, what started the rumors is him and Nick Fuentes got together, and they were just having a gay old time, okay? And then a video came out. But we're not going to talk about that, okay? Because we're talking about Donald Trump right now, and can we get a replay on the Trump dick suck syndrome?
Why don't we ever talk about TDSS, which is Trump dick suck syndrome, which is where every single unhinged statement Donald Trump makes can be excused through some leap of faith that he's just saying random memes, except when he's not.
Yeah, and I wanted to replay this because what he's saying is true. This is 100% accurate. That is literally what the base does. Okay, they say, oh no, he's just joking, he's not serious, and then he goes and fucking does it. And it's like, oh, well, I guess he wasn't joking. And they're like, yeah, he's playing 3D chess, it's actually a really smart move, it's actually for the working people. Donald Trump visited me in a dream, and he told me that the Patriots are in control. Okay, and it's like, I don't, that's the thing, man, like, I know that, like, obviously what I just said is a joke, but, like, it's really not that far off from what these fucking people tell me. Like, I don't know how to communicate with them anymore. We're drifting apart, people, like, it's getting to a point where, like, how do I, it's like we're speaking different languages, like, how do I communicate?
When Trump talked about tariffing the entire world, that was just a joke until it wasn't. When Trump talked about renegotiating borders with Canada...
Is this where the rumors came from? Is this where they came from? Trump dick-sucking syndrome?
Or annexing Greenland, or whatever for the Panama Canal...
The Epstein file,
it's a joke until it wasn't for Panama, like, but, okay, good one.
Destiny wrote
Okay,
it.
so a few things to point out about this clip. First off, it's kind of your stereotypical bad faith streamer debate bro tactic, where they pause the video before the entire argument is made. My complete point...
Oh my god, I do that all the time. I'm so fucking sorry. I do it all the time.
Which is going over how this is a
because I hear like one part and I'm like, oh, I have to respond to that.
Typical thing that Trump does. When you ask Trump if he's going to rule something out, he usually will never rule anything out, no matter what it is you're asking him.
Yeah, I mean, that is the nature of like making the kind of content that you make, okay? And you can use that to your advantage, because if he pauses you in the middle of your argument and like they say something that you're about to address, well, you're about to address it, and then you get the final word. Okay, so yeah, no. But anyway, if you don't like doing that, or if you don't like that happening, then make different content. You know, oh, what do you mean by that? Like what? Like do if you don't want to like debate people, kind of like in a proxy. Like a proxy debate, okay, where you make a video, they make a response, you respond to their response, like for okay. Instead of doing that, right, you could debate him. You could have a live form discussion, and Destiny would do this. He loves doing this, and you won't ever do this, Mentis Wave, because you're a fucking pussy, and you don't want to do a gladiator battle in the marketplace of ideas. Okay, you don't want to step in the arena. So yeah, I mean, that's it.
If he will rule it out or not. And indeed, I actually admit
that's
that
all
it's
I
kind
got.
of silly and stupid.
Well, to be fair, sometimes it's kind of hard to tell, like it's kind of hard to tell when it's going to end, basically, the argument, right? Because like the entire video could be the argument, so it's kind of hard
to do that. But it doesn't change the fact that that's just kind of a pattern of his speech. And so when he refuses to rule something out, it doesn't actually mean that he's going to do the thing. That's when you have to consider the possibilities. So when a journalist asks Trump a gotcha question of whether or not he's going to rule something out, just so that they can get an inflammatory headline out of Trump refusing to rule out military force under a scenario where we're definitely not going to actually use military force, in comparison to something that Trump actually does legitimately say that he wants to do, which is doing tariffs. And indeed, tariffs are something that I have criticized Trump for doing. A lot of other economists have criticized Trump for doing it, because unlike saying that, oh, he's not going to rule out tariffs, he's explicitly stated that he's going to do it several times. And so what Destiny's reasoning here is just completely failing to think about probability. Honest reasoning always includes a consideration for percentage chance of thing to actually happen. And that's just completely missing from Destiny's rationale.
No. Destiny. I don't even, like, what are you trying to say here, man? Like, it's getting kind of convoluted. But I think what you're saying is that you're implying that Destiny, with his comment, was saying that Trump says one thing, right, and then does that thing, but like Trump is making it seem like he's joking, and that's what you're saying Destiny is saying. Okay, that's not what he was saying. Destiny was talking about the base. He was talking about Trump voters, Trump supporters, and what they say. Okay, what do they say? They say, oh, Trump is just joking about the tariffs. Yeah, I guess it would be, because here's the thing. Anybody with half a fucking brain knows that tariffs are a bad idea. Okay, every time our country has employed tariffs in the entire history of our nation, it's been a bad idea. Anytime, pretty much every country that does tariffs, it's bad. Most of the time. Like, I'm overgeneralizing here. I'm making a blanket statement about tariffs. There are applications for them. I am aware of that. Our country is not good. It's not good for our country. It never has been, probably never will. Probably. With any luck. But anyway, that's why you saw a lot of Trump supporters saying, oh, no, he's just making threats, you know, he's just baring his fangs. Turns out he was being serious. Okay, he actually did want to do tariffs. Now, why did Trump want to do tariffs? Why does he want to do tariffs? I think it's because he wants to crash the country into the dirt. I think he wants it to explode. I don't know. That's like the only thing that I can decipher. It's crazy. Like, there is no logical reason to do half of the shit he's done. Unless you want to watch the country burn. But, like, I don't know why he would want to do that, unironically. I don't know. A pessimist would say that he would profit or something. Or maybe he thinks he would become, like, the new lead, the god king of the new country. But, like, I don't know. I don't know what his fucking plan is. He seems like he's out of his mind. But unlike Biden, he doesn't have, like, handlers. You know, like, he's basically just, like, raw dogging dementia. like Biden, you know, people were walking him everywhere. Like, you know, every step he took was monitored. Okay, Trump, I feel like, is a little, you know, he's acting more independently than Biden, certainly. But I think his dementia has progressed to about the same point, if not worse. I also think that he's better at masking it. And that's another thing. I've talked about it before, I think, how Trump, like, hides his dementia. And I think he is better at hiding it. But that doesn't mean that he's, like when I say he's better at hiding it, I mean, like, he has progressed further than it seems. Anyway, let's keep going.
And so it's a completely fallacious comparison. And sadly enough, by thinking it's a good comparison for even a second, Destiny once again is kind of proving my point about TDS. Because he interprets everything Trump says in a bad faith manner, he genuinely can't tell the difference between something that Trump is seriously considering and something that he's probably not going to do. Which in this particular case, time has pretty much proven me correct on this one. I mean, when was the...
What? Wait. What do you... Is he specifically talking about something? What? Like, what did Trump say that we're...
Some criticize Trump for doing it, because unlike saying that, oh, he's not going to rule out tariffs, he's explicitly stated that he's going to do it several times. And so what Destiny's reasoning here is just completely failing to think about probability. Honest reasoning always includes a consideration for percentage chance.
Oh, okay, yeah, now I remember. So he does think that. He thinks that Destiny is saying that, like, Trump lied or deceived people. No. He was, in this instance... You know, he was honest, okay, which is a rarity. for Trump, but he was honest here. It was the base that, because they have to defend Trump no matter what, okay, which I don't know why his base feels that way, but they do. Okay, they do. They will defend him no matter what. Tariffs are basically indefensible unless you are a brain-dead troglodyte. So his fans, they had to say like, oh no, he was joking. Okay, wasn't joking though. That's what Destiny was saying. And you're calling that TDS because I don't even fucking know. Like, some made-up fucking reason.
And that's just completely missing from Destiny's rationale here. And so it's a completely fallacious comparison. And sadly enough, by thinking it's a good comparison for even a second, Destiny, once again, is kind of proving my point about DDS. Because he interprets everything Trump says in a bad faith manner, he genuinely can't tell the difference between something that Trump is seriously considering and something that he's probably not going to do. Which, in this particular case, time has pretty much proven me correct on this one. I mean, when was the last time you even heard or thought about Trump potentially having the United States military invade and annex Greenland? It's yesterday's news to the point of being memorable. Nobody's talking about it
I've been there. I love staying at that hotel. That's the one where the bomb went off.
anymore because it's not.
Okay. Sure. Sure. Nobody brought that up. Nobody's talking about it. Like, I kind of agree. It would be stupid to bring up the Greenland thing because it was a while ago and it hasn't been brought up. Okay, it was dumb at the time. It was a dumb fucking idea. And I don't blame anybody for talking about it then. But, I mean, yeah. Anyway, is it Trump derangement syndrome to bring that up? I mean, I don't know. No. Because it's a valid criticism. Like, invading Greenland or like, trying to buy Greenland would be stupid. It would be dumb. First of all, they're not going to sell it. And, it probably wouldn't be that good of an investment anyway. Maybe the oil. Maybe there's oil there. I don't know, man. But anyway, nobody's brought up Greenland. You brought up Greenland. Did Destiny bring up Greenland? Was I, like, asleep or something? Like, what happened?
Happening. It was a silly thing.
I don't think he did.
When I watched that bomb video, the bomb going off, I was like, man, I sat right there before. I've sat literally right there. Yeah, the Tesla, the freaking Tesla, that there was like a bomb or something with the Tesla.
Got over-sensationalized by a bunch of journalists.
They were fireworks. She's talking about the New Vegas thing, okay? And people thought that the Cybertruck exploded, okay? Which I haven't heard of any Cybertrucks exploding spontaneously, but you know, it is a Tesla, so it wouldn't... I don't blame people for thinking that. But anyway, apparently it was like a bunch of fireworks or some shit. I don't
who
know.
Coincidentally also have DDS. And this is exactly what I'm talking about in terms of
I think it was also like ammunition,
He just takes mainstream media slop and makes it
like
seem more interesting and edgier,
guns.
so that way the younger audience can digest it. Anyway, next clip. But when you ask Trump if he would rule something out, he usually doesn't say that he'll rule it out. And knowing that, it becomes very, very unlikely that...
Except that's not true, because when you talk about him, will you do a strong thing against Russia, or, you know, what was the particular statements? It had to do with, like, are we going to apply pressure to Russia or something? And he was like, no, Russia's got the upper hand, so it's Ukraine that has to, you know, figure out what PCO looks like, or it's Ukraine, the onus of Ukraine to do this. He has no problem with some people saying that, you know, he's not going to put pressure on them. It's up to the other party. But then with other people, he'll say, oh no, I've never taken anything off the table. That's bullshit. Everybody knows it's bullshit.
Well, I'm not actually sure what Destiny's talking about here, mainly because he himself doesn't seem to fully know what he's talking about. He doesn't really seem to have a specific example down. In terms of Russia and Ukraine's conflict, just in general, that's actually a good example of Trump, once again, not ruling things out. There was actually a thing from Independent on Trump not ruling out sending U.S. troops to Ukraine.
Well, like, the problem is, like, why would you rule something out? Like, if you rule something out and then you remove options, you remove options from your own table, and then if you in order to placate, like, journalists, you're removing options from the table, like from your arsenal, basically, right? And then if you use it, it comes at like a great cost now because, oh, you said you weren't going to do that. So it's kind of like, I kind of understand being like, I don't know, maybe, it depends. It makes sense.
Trump is trying to de-escalate the war in Ukraine as fast as possible. And the reason why he's doing this, and it's the same reason that he's failing, okay? The reason why he's doing this is because he knows what Putin's plan is, which is to spread America as thin as possible. Okay, and that's what this conflict in Ukraine is all about. Okay, that's why it's just in Ukraine. Okay, like, because if you actually, if you're a fucking nerd and you read about this shit and you look at this shit, it don't make no sense. It don't make no sense. Like, Russia is winning hardcore. Okay, they are. It's no contest. Like, anybody that says that Ukraine has a chance, you're delusional. Okay, Russia could take all of Ukraine, all of it, and they could do it fast, but they're not. And like I said, it's because they want to strain America. They want to drag this out. Okay. Anyway, it's just, if you don't realize that, though, the conflict doesn't make any fucking sense, because Russia is winning so much, but they're not only are they not just like wrapping it up and taking all of Ukraine, but they're not invading Poland either. And why are they not doing that? Well, because then NATO would have to get involved. Of course. So Russia is never going to invade Poland. I don't even think they really want Ukraine that bad. Because, like, what does Russia want Ukraine for anyway? Ukrainians. Certainly not for the Ukrainians. Maybe the natural resources. But I don't think there's much in... obviously, Ukraine has valuable resources for the United States. But I don't think that there's really anything in Ukraine that Russia doesn't already have. I could be wrong about that, but I don't know. Anyway, the valid criticism of Trump on Ukraine is basically that he's trying to wrap it up as fast as possible because he's really itching to go to really go to war with Iran, with Venezuela. Like what I'm saying is, Trump wants a real war. Okay, he wants a real war with American troops. He can't get American troops in Ukraine. He can't fight Russia directly. That would be World War III. That would be really bad. Okay, but he could go to war with Iran. In his mind, I mean, he thinks that would probably be a good idea, or whatever. It would work. He wants to go to war with Iran. He wants to go to war with Venezuela. Okay, something like that. He wants to get the fuck out of Ukraine. That's it. Okay, and that's why he is, like, just trying to wrap it up as fast as possible and give Ukraine a really shitty deal. Okay, like, that's it. He thinks that if he offers Russia a sweet enough deal, they'll take it, and it'll just be over, or at least it'll be over until he can get out of office. But Putin's never gonna do that. He's never gonna fucking do that. And I could be wrong. There could be something I don't know about, but like, he's. If some new information comes out that I find out about, then I'll change my opinion on this. But he's never gonna give it up. Because it would defeat the whole purpose. He doesn't want a good deal. Even if Trump offered him all of Ukraine, I don't think he would take it. He'd be like, no, we keep fighting. Like, that's what he would fucking do, dude. So, it is valid to criticize Trump, about this. Like, it's also valid to criticize Biden, because the situation back then was actually a lot more advantageous for America. And I think Biden could have feasibly, settled the conflict, but that's not what happened. Okay, Biden didn't fucking do that, and now we're not really in a position where we can make a good deal. So Trump's trying to make a shitty deal, but that's not gonna fucking work for all of the reasons I just got done talking about. So anyway. That was kind of a ramble, but
yeah, you lose leverage. Yeah, exactly.
as part of the peacekeeping efforts, which, when pressed further, he later did eventually rule it out, which then again just kind of emphasizes that this is a personality trait of Trump. It's a common thing for him to not rule things out, which is why you have to consider that when again considering possibilities. The thing that is again completely missing from Destiny's rationale. Thinking that the chances of Trump implementing tariffs when Trump has repeatedly stated over and over and over again that he wants to implement tariffs is the same as the chances of Trump saying we're gonna annex Greenland, when in reality he just said he wouldn't rule it out in response to Destiny's rationale. Thinking that the chances of Trump implementing tariffs when Trump has repeatedly stated over and over and over again that he wants to implement tariffs is the same as the chances of Trump saying we're gonna annex Greenland, when in reality he just said he wouldn't rule it out in response to a random question from a journo. Taking those two things and treating them as they have the exact same probability behind them is honestly...
There's a lot of like things, there's a lot of things that you can criticize.
But like, who said that though? Did Destiny bring up Greenland? Am I stupid? Am I like actually like hallucinating here, or whatever the opposite of like did I black out? What happened? And anyway, those two things aren't equivalent, but like, it's still stupid. Like, they don't have to be fucking equivalent. Nobody equivalized them either. Okay, it's just like yeah, invading Greenland would be a dumb idea. Okay, even humoring the idea of invading Greenland is just like beyond stupid. But yeah, I don't think that's the most egregious thing that Trump has done. That's actually one of the funnier things he's done. Like it's like I'm not gonna act like it's good or it's not bad, but it is kind of lighthearted. Oh haha, like we're gonna invade Greenland, we're gonna invade Canada or Mexico. Like if it did actually happen, that would be really fucked up. But if it is just jokes, then again, I still think it's bad. Okay, I still don't like it, but it's not like it's not an egregious thing. Okay, I don't really care. Okay, that's why nobody cares. That's why nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about fucking Greenland anymore. Nobody's doing that. Fuck.
That's Trump on, right? Like for one, the way that they handle the Epstein stuff is really annoying. And I think that's an actual angle that you could easily make an argument.
Insane. And that's my entire point when I made a video on TDS. They whine about every little tiny thing that Trump says as if there's a 100% chance of every little thing causing some kind of doomsday scenario, and thus drowning out any kind of real legitimate criticism against the man with a bunch of nonsense. But anyways, let's just skip to this next thing. Journalists have gone back on this and asked Trump to clarify again by asking him simple loaded questions such as, would you rule out military or economic coercion? Which of course Trump won't rule out, especially since they said military or economic, which actually includes a lot of things to rule out. But then
you understand that you can respond with a full set. Why is this guy pretending like Donald Trump would reasonably rule out, like he got tricked by the grammar? The grammar police showed up and tricked him into not being able to answer a question coherently?
Was reported as only saying that he didn't rule out military. They conveniently leave out the part of the conversation where they were also having an either-or factor in there in regards to economic methods. And this is where you can kind of identify...
Oh, no, not the either-or trap.
He does have dementia, Destiny. Like, I don't know. I said the same thing about Biden, okay? Like, Biden obviously had a lot of gaffes. He had a lot of goofs and gaffes. And it's because he has dementia. He is demented, okay? He does. And so I would say that. And then people would be like, he's the president, he shouldn't be in office. And I was like, yeah, he shouldn't be. But like, I don't know. He is. He has dementia. Nobody's doing anything about it. And like, all I was saying was like, I'm not gonna sit here and, like rake in a demented, a senile dementia patient. I'm not gonna rake him over the coals. Okay, even though he is the president, because like he's not. I knew he wasn't the one in charge. Okay, we all know. We all know Biden wasn't calling the fucking shots. Are you kidding me? And I don't know who it was. It could have been Kamala. I don't know. Could have been like a Dick Cheney situation, except if George had dementia and was 900 years old. Could have been like one of those things, but like, I don't know. Anyway, all that is to say is like, I think Trump is evil. I think he's probably a pedophile. I think he's bad. Okay, he's bad, orange man bad. But like, he's gonna make some gaffes, but like that's not where the real funny is. That's not where the real humor comes from. The real humor is actually when he doesn't make a gaffe, when he says something silly, like he called that reporter a piggy the other day. He said, what did he say? I think he said, "Shut up, piggy." Or he said, "Quiet. Quiet, piggy." Like, I love shit like that, man. I do, I really do. But anyway, like, you know, Destiny, you know, shut the fuck up, okay? He has dementia. Like, cut the man some slack.
No.
So this is what I consider to be Destiny's weirdest argument
Or a trap. Oh.
Look at this chat. What do you think? What do you think, Kick? You think this is true? That Twitch chat is clickbait? What do you think? It's pointing right at the Twitch chat and says clickbait. What do you guys think? Is that true?
No.
So this is what I consider to be Destiny's weirdest argument in the entire video. Because what he's basically arguing here is that because someone doesn't respond perfectly to a loaded gotcha question from a journalist,
dude, you're so funny. How do you have viewers? How, like, honestly, like, I don't... Because, like, sometimes I watch Leaflet and I feel like it's a real slog. You know, it's like... It's hard to sit through. It really is, dog. And, like, sometimes I think, like, there are people... Apparently, there are people out there, somewhere out there in the world, that are just watching Leaflet. Just watching her. For fun. For fun. I mean, I don't know. I kind of do it for fun, too. But, like, I don't know. I don't know how people, like, unironically, and like, what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like, I don't know how people enjoy this genuinely. Cause like I enjoy this, but obviously, you know, it's because like, oh, like, yeah, I'm kind of like laughing at her, you know, like, you know, I hate to say it, but like it's true, okay? Like, I watch her in a very mean-spirited way, but like how do people watch her and find her funny? This is one of the most uncharismatic people I have ever seen make content. Okay, ever. Like, she's not funny, she's not intelligent. I haven't figured it out yet. I don't know what her secret is. Like, how did she get here? I'm not saying obviously she's not like a huge YouTuber or / streamer, and her audience is certainly stagnated. Okay, but like, I don't know how she's gotten to where she's at. I genuinely, I don't know. Still trying to figure it out, but anyway, let's
somehow
keep
means
going.
that the assumptions of the loaded question magically become correct. No, that's not how it works. That's a very typical fallacy. Journalists ask loaded questions like this all the time. This is kind of media literacy 101 here. They specifically ask people questions that aren't always easy to come up with an on-the-spot answer. And just because you don't come up with an on-the-spot answer, that doesn't mean that you just get to assume that whatever the journalist was injecting into the conversation magically becomes true. That's typical journalist spin. That's why you kind of need to be aware of how journalists spin things in order to understand the world. And that point just seems to completely fly over Destiny's head somehow. Yeah. A poor response to a journalist doesn't mean that you should now take it seriously that we might actually be invading Greenland, because we're not. Which honestly, again, now it's kind of obvious that we're not invading Greenland. It's pretty obvious that I was wrong.
It depends. It depends on, and I don't think that like, you're acting like this just spawned from a reporter's head, and that was it. I don't think that's what happened. Okay, I don't remember everything perfectly, but I'm pretty sure he said something before the reporter the reporter was asking him to elaborate on something that he said previously, right? Am I crazy? Am I remembering it wrong? Okay, anyway, you know, sure. Okay, again, I don't know why you're still hyper fixating on fucking Greenland. But, yeah, like, he is correct. The media, media personnel, they do this, okay? They frame things, okay? And, all framing is, it's, you know, the questions you ask. If you ask Donald Trump, why are you fucking up the country and touching little kids, you know, that is like negative framing, right? That's like you're like, you know, you're basically like making an accusation. You're saying that Trump bad, Orange Man bad. Okay, but so that's negative framing, right? But if you asked him questions like, how did you turn the country around so fast, Mr. President? It is so good. Everything is so cheap. How did you do it? You know, that is positive framing, right? And so he's right. These are like basic concepts. Okay, how did anyone miss it? Like, how did Destiny? Like, you're correct in your description. This is what media personalities do. But like, what? How was Destiny not aware of this? How does this relate to what he was saying? It doesn't. You made up something in your head that he didn't say. And god damn it. These motherfuckers really got me defending Destiny. God fucking damn it. God damn it,
nobody's
dude.
talking about this
Damn
possibility
it.
anymore because we've kind of moved on. And so for this next clip, I'm just going to skip to the next subject because I think I've made my point here. That's kind of how the bad faith starts to manifest. You see that they are obsessed with Donald Trump, but they refuse to try and seriously understand where the man is coming from.
You just said that we can't seriously understand because he might just say shit that's a fucking meme. How are we supposed to understand that? How do you make sense of that?
You know, this is actually a good question. How do you understand
feel like
someone
I've
who's
hit
kind
a
of an
new
epic leader?
low.
And well, the answer is actually kind of simple, and it kind of goes to basic human interaction and how you understand people.
Sorry, I
Just said that we
zoned
can't
out
seriously
for a
understand
minute.
because he might.
I was thinking about like how I got to this point, how I've fallen so low. I don't know, man.
Just say shit that's a fucking meme. How are we supposed to understand that? How do you make sense of that?
You know, this is actually a good question. How do you understand someone who's kind of an epic memer? And well, the answer is actually kind of simple, and it kind of goes to basic human interaction and how you understand people in general, which is the age-old advice of ignoring what people say and watching what people do. You see, Donald Trump, when you actually look at his policies and what he passes, you begin to realize that he's really just a 1980s and 1990s moderate. That's why another way you can tell that someone has TDS is because they think that Donald Trump is literally mid-1900s bad mustache man. When in reality, much of his policies can actually be found mirrored in either Ronald Reagan or Bill Clinton. For example, tariffs and trade war with Europe. Guess who did that?
You're not helping your case, buddy. Everybody thinks that Trump is just like Hitler, but he's not. He's actually like Reagan and Clinton. Yeah, man. Yeah. Yeah, nothing like Hitler. Nothing like Hitler. Yeah, man. Wow, what a compelling argument that is. Wow. If you're not picking up what I'm saying here, there's no way you aren't figuring out what I was saying.
Gatekeeper. Again, or how about taxes? Trump's Tax Cuts and Jobs Act or Reagan's Economic Recovery Tax Act, both lowering individual tax rates and in Trump's case, corporate tax rate. And in this case, Trump actually lowered it significantly less than Reagan did, which is why I call him a moderate. Or in the case of environmental.
Yeah, and you can't forget the tariffs. Yeah, such an 80s moderate move, dude, is to do a bunch of fucking stupid ass tariffs. Oh yeah, that's exactly what a 1980s moderate would do. Yeah, man.
Corporate action.
Genius.
Again, pretty much the same thing that Reagan did.
Yeah, you know what a 1980s moderate would do? They would brutalize brown people and ship them to concentration camps. You know what a 1980s moderate would do? They would imprison their political dissent. You know what a 1980s moderate would do? They would rape multiple women and children. Okay, that probably is what a 1980s moderate would do, unironically.
You have to understand this and take it in context.
Ronald Reagan.
That's exactly
Donald Trump
what they
is,
would do.
kind of a typical boomer. And so the 70s to the 90s was his golden years. And so a lot of what he's coming from is just a return to that. And it's actually kind of bizarre to me how few people out there who are doing political commentary, mainly journalists, but also kind of React streamer politics bros like Destiny, it's kind of shocking to me how many people haven't realized this about Trump. And it's pretty easy to verify. I mean, if you just take a policy enacted by Trump and input it into Google or even using Grok AI search or something to make it a little bit easier on yourself, you'll find that it mirrors a policy done by either Clinton or Reagan. It's just that Trump likes to make it seem like he's unique because he has a lot of anti-establishment rhetoric in his speech. But in terms of what he actually does, it's not really that anti-establishment.
Well, to be honest, it's kind of unique for...
True. He's right. He's right about that. Trump is not anti-establishment in his policy. Okay? In his rhetoric, he is. He talks about the elites. He talks about draining the swamp. But it's like I was saying earlier. Behind closed doors, they're friends. They're buddies. They're playing roles. Okay, they're acting. None of it is real. But yeah, I mean, Trump, he's right about that. I gotta give him credit where credit's due. What was he right about again? I forgot.
But in terms of what he actually does, it's not really that anti-establishment.
Well, to be honest, it's kind of unique for the time, right? It's like for right now, it is kind of unique.
At all. And so that's what you need to keep in mind. If you understand Donald Trump, you have to remember that he's kind of a blowhard. But in terms of what he actually...
No, you're... Leaflet once again. Whoosh. No, Trump isn't doing anything unique. He's doing tax cuts for the rich. Business as usual. Starting wars overseas. Trying to wrap up the ones he doesn't like or are inconvenient for us now. And trying to start one that he can actually profit off of. That's what he's doing, and that's what America has mostly done throughout its entirety. Throughout the entirety of its history. Anyway.
He does. Well, he doesn't actually do that much. Or as the Chud rule goes, nothing ever happens. Let's move on to the next clip. For example, this wonderful tweet from Destiny.
Nothing ever happens.
To suspend the Constitution. Oh my, did Trump actually want to do that? Such a dangerous anti-American rhetoric. And then, of course, when you don't read what Donald Trump actually said, it reveals itself to not quite be that. It was just Donald Trump accusing the 2020 election of being fraud. Something he...
A massive fraud of this type and magnitude allows for the termination of all rules and regulations and articles, even those found in the Constitution. He literally said it verbatim, and I can't say that I'm worried about a thing that he said verbatim. And by the way, he basically has said in more ways than one that parts of the Constitution aren't valid.
Yes, actually, a person calling to cut out red tape to carry out an investigation of rules potentially being violated is obviously not the same thing as saying that all the rules must be permanently suspended. This kind of spastic disconnection from reality is exactly what I mean by bad faith. Again, it's kind of weird that he's trying to refute my claim that TDS is a problem while constantly displaying examples of TDS. With the example of TDS he's displaying right here.
I mean, I do think it's kind of suspicious how the government keeps coming up with new situations where they gotta suspend our constitutional rights. Like if you live 100 miles or less from the fucking border. Like, it's crazy, man. This is crazy. Did you know that 70% of Americans live in a constitution-free zone? Where your constitutional rights can be waived on a fucking whim? Because fuck you? What? How? How is this reality? How are you okay with this?
Saying it verbatim. But why is he saying it? Well, because he thinks that fraud has occurred. And regardless of whether or not Trump is correct that there was fraud or not, you have to take that in context. You can't just be like, you said it verbatim.
He's wrong. He is wrong, and he knows he's wrong, okay? Because his guys are the ones doing the fraud. Okay, don't believe me? Look at Senator Rick Scott. That's Trump's buddy. That's his partner, okay? 50-50 partner. 50-50 partner. Okay, what did Rick Scott do? Oh, yeah, he did the largest Medicare fraud in the history of Medicare.
And then remove that from the context and then stretch it to mean the worst possible interpretation you can come up with. This is exactly the nonsense I'm talking about. There's no serious attempt to understand Donald Trump. Or I guess one way to put it is that he's taking Trump literally, but not taking Trump seriously. He's looking through every little thing that Trump says and just trying to find something that he can get upset by, regardless of whether or not Trump was really being serious or whether or not that's what Trump actually meant. That, in essence, is TDS. Anyway, next clip. And him saying that the rules and regulations getting in the way of that being investigated should be cut out. Interpreting that as completely and permanently suspending the Constitution is...
If you can suspend a rule sometimes, you can suspend a rule all the time. That's how rule sets work. You can't selectively apply them. Once you've done that, you've lost the rule set. It doesn't apply anymore. It doesn't work anymore.
So this right here from Destiny is a typical midwit misconception I see. They equate this all the time. What he's doing here is he's equating...
I'm not gonna lie, this is a little bit hard to follow, just because I think it's probably easier if you know like all of the drama that happened, or everything that Destiny has ever refuted against Mentis, and like you know all the Mentis points that he ever made. It might be easier to follow, but for me it's a little hard.
Legality to logic.
I'm a little distracted from the video game.
To legality, I mean, people make exceptions to rules and regulations.
Yeah, I think that you're having trouble keeping up. It's okay. It's okay, Leaflet. You don't have to commentate, okay? Your commentary is dog shit anyway. You can just shut the fuck up. Obviously your audience doesn't fucking care. They don't care what you say, if it sounds correct or not. Or if it is correct or not. They don't give a fuck. So just don't say anything. Or just say like it doesn't matter, okay? You don't even, like, what I'm saying is, you don't even need to commentate over the video. You could talk about what you're having for dinner. Like, I don't think anyone cares. I don't think they do. You suck. And I
all the
hate
time.
you.
Like, for example, in what Trump was talking about in the Constitution, a good faith interpretation of that, Section D is ignored when thing A happens. And we have things in terms of legality like that in society all the time. Like homicide laws generally allow for killing in cases like self-defense, or certain copyright restrictions can be ignored in cases like fair use, or things like emergency vehicles are exempt from speed limit laws. Or in some cases, like in the California basic speed limit, there's a lot of traffic laws that allow you to get away with breaking them. Like, for example, the basic speed limit law, where you can exceed the speed limit as long as everybody around you is also exceeding the speed limit, because it's technically safer. But it's actually kind of a really weird...
Okay, yeah, here's the thing, though. All of those things that you just mentioned, even the murder thing, which is pretty serious, I would say all of those things are significantly less serious than suspending people's constitutional rights. Okay? And that's just not an exaggeration. So there needs to be much more scrutiny when it comes to when we decide to suspend whose rights. Okay? And there isn't enough scrutiny. There isn't. Okay? Like, think about it like with murder. Okay? I would argue that, like I just said, suspending even just one person's constitutional rights is way more serious than an individual murder. Okay, but we heavily scrutinize murderers. Okay, like if you murder someone, you're going to jail, you're going to trial, unless it's just very, very clear cut that what you did you had to do for self-defense. Okay, in most states, you're gonna have a murder trial, and you'll need to prove that you did it in self-defense. Okay, so like that level of scrutiny, like times 10 for suspending someone's constitutional rights. Because like once you start doing that, which we already have, unironically, it's a slippery slope. Okay, I'm gonna make a slippery slope argument here, because like if you start suspending people's rights willy-nilly for whatever the stupid fucking reason you got this week, what's gonna happen? Well, I'll tell you what's gonna happen. We're all gonna go to the gulag. We're all gonna go bye-bye. That's what's gonna fucking happen, okay? I'm an alarmist, okay? I'm ringing the alarm. I'm an alarmist. It's true. Okay, that's why this has to be heavily scrutinized. That's why. Okay, so all the shit that you just mentioned, speeding through an intersection for emergency responders, like, yeah, I mean, I agree. That is something that they should be able to do in an emergency. It's just, that's not the same as suspending someone's constitutional rights, you dumb fuck.
That Destiny is making here. Rules have exceptions built into them all the time, and you can absolutely ask for an exception.
Rules have exceptions
In the case of an investigation. Asking for a new exception to a rule to be added is not the same thing as saying, lol, burn the Constitution. That is an absolutely insane
true.
No, it is, though. But it depends on the context. Okay, it is. If it's a valid reason to suspend someone's constitutional rights, then, yeah, I agree. Okay, it's not torching the Constitution. But yeah, if you want to just take anyone's rights away that you feel like, just cause, then yeah, you might as well be burning the fucking Constitution, idiot.
That in regards to voting law, you can say this is a bad thing.
Nobody is saying that you should never be able to suspend constitutional rights, that it should never happen, ever, under any circumstances, because that would be silly. That would be a silly generalization. And that's why nobody is fucking saying it. Okay, what people are saying is that the reasons that currently exist for suspending someone's constitutional rights are wrong and or unlawful. Okay, like in the case of not giving illegal migrants due process, which they are entitled to, even if they actually are illegal. Anyway.
Except in circumstances this, and this, and this. Mm-hmm. Just about every law is written that way, to be honest.
Yeah.
What Destiny's doing is he's equating that.
Yeah, like, again, like Mentis' example of it be like self-defense, for instance, right? Like you're not allowed to kill somebody, but it's like, well, in the case that like somebody's trying to kill you, then like obviously you can use lethal force to like protect yourself, right? So there's always like a context, like in which a thing that you normally couldn't do would be okay.
For instance, if you were to say that you believe in the Constitution on principle, and that under no circumstances should any of it be different on principle, such as trying to argue that the United States Constitution is an objectively true document that only has objective truth in it, and therefore cannot be violated without creating a contradiction, well then yeah, in that case we have a problem, but nobody's actually making that argument. But what's especially weird about this argument is that Destiny has stated that he's a utilitarianist, at least from what I understand about him. So he's perfectly fine with changing the rules so long as he gets a quote-unquote good outcome, whatever that may be. And yet in this particular case, he's kind of temporarily pretending to be an objectivist, which is just honestly weird. Anyways, after this, Destiny kind of went into a tangent about Joe Biden pardoning the January 6th committee. I'm gonna skip over that because quite frankly I don't care, and it doesn't really have anything to do with the arguments I was making. Again, if you want to see the whole video to see that I'm not taking him out of context at all, a link to it will be in the description below. Instead, let's just skip to the general January 6th stuff, starting with this clip. Obsession is also where they start to begin this kind of single-minded focus on certain things about the right. So for example, we can do a search on the Liberal about Trump January 6th, and we find post after post after post of him.
I was gonna say, I could be wrong, but that doesn't really sound like Destiny. No, like Destiny is so debate-brained. He always has a point, and I'm not saying he's correct, okay, in anything that he says. I'm never gonna assume that Destiny is correct. You know, no. But anyway, he may have been making a point. I don't know. It doesn't sound like him to, in this context, bring up something that has nothing to do with the argument at hand. So, I don't know. He brought up the January 6th. I guess he was saying that, like, he was, like, comparing Biden's actions to Trump, and he was saying that, like, people were upset about that, but there's, like, a double standard between him and Trump, probably. I mean, I don't know. I think it's a little silly to skip over it. Okay, like, come on. Come on, Mentis. What are you doing, bro?
Over trying to convince people that the January 6th Capitol riot was an unironic attempt to
This is a really popular new online thing. I think it was mainly started in the online world. Popular new online thing. I think it was mainly started in the online world. Hassan does it. All the snarker communities do it. Where if you talk about a thing and they don't really have much that they can say about it, or they don't have a good counter for it, they just call you obsessed. And it's a way to say that, like, you can't criticize a thing or talk about a thing because you're obsessed over it. Like, okay. Okay, first off, I do have a good counter to it, and I made an entire video on the whole January 6th stuff. But second of all, I think Destiny's really missing my point here. You see, I was actually kind of criticizing him for mirroring a lot of the obsession of the mainstream media, which is exactly what he does. A lot of the media was obsessed with the whole January 6th talking point, and since again, kind of rehashing mainstream media slop into Zoomer slop is kind of Destiny's general shtick, he then of course becomes obsessed with the January 6th stuff as well. We don't call that obsessed as a way of dismissing it. Rather, it's just a simplified way of calling out the general mainstream media dishonesty of agenda setting, where the media tries to take something that really wasn't that big of a deal and turn it into a big deal by constantly regurgitating the narrative over and over and over again. It's a general problem.
But January 6th was kind of a big deal, man. Like don't get me wrong. I've said it before, and I'll say it now too. It's old shit, okay? It's old. Like, and people are still talking about it, and libs are still talking about it, and I think it's stupid. I think it's stupid when they talk about it because it's old shit. Like, I don't give a fuck about January 6th. But if you're gonna say, like, oh, it didn't matter, it wasn't that big a deal, like why do you guys keep saying this? It doesn't even... The only way it makes sense is if, like, in your mind, Trump can just do no wrong. And so because January 6th was obviously his fault, right? That's undeniable. That's undeniable. Like, it happened, and it was his fault. So then the only option you have is to either try and deny that and shift the blame, which is what, like, oh, it was the feds, it was the Democrats, it was Antifa. Okay, you either do that or you do what they're doing, which is the more sensible thing, and you're like, it's just, it doesn't really matter, like, it wasn't that big a deal. But, like, really? You're gonna say it wasn't a big deal? Like, 5 police officers died. That's not a big deal to you? Like, think about how much shit they've been giving the LA protesters, the UC Berkeley protesters, the yada yada. Okay. They threw rocks at the police. They threw rocks at them. They threw rocks. Like, the January 6ers killed 5 police officers. That's not a big deal. That's not a big deal. It was Antifa. It was Antifa. The Patriots would never do that. They would never do that. It had to be Antifa. It's like, dude, like, oh, like, which is it? Do cop lives matter, or do they not? Like, I don't get it. You throw a few little pebbles at some cops, and everybody loses their fucking minds. But if you're a Republican, you can just kill them. You can just kill them. And what happens then? The president pardons you. If you throw a rock at a cop and you're Antifa, you get fucking gassed, you get shot. If you kill a cop as a Republican, you get fucking pardoned. What? I don't know, man. I don't know.
General corporate status media tells you. It is again something I've done an entire video.
Well, the best thing to do, I think, there's two things. It's like, one, if you kind of take what both sides are saying and try to find the intersection of that, like, you can more or less say that's probably true. And the other thing too is that you take what people say and you kind of infer what they mean.
No, I see. That's sort of like I can't remember what that's called. It's kind of like horseshoe theory. You know, the idea that like, oh, the two extremes, they're similar, and like they're extreme. They're all Nazis. You know, the communists are actually Nazis, and the truth is somewhere in the sensible moderate. Like, dude, I can't fucking it's not. We're in real life, man. We're in real life. There are right answers and there are wrong answers. Okay? So no, the truth isn't always in the middle. Okay? Sometimes one side is right and the other one is wrong. And sometimes they're both wrong, but that's only with like military imperialist expansion and brutalizing foreigners. Okay, that's the only time where both sides are wrong. And they're both, so what that means is they're both too far to the right, so it's not in the middle. Okay, it's actually like you need to go further left. So like, no, the truth isn't somewhere in the middle. The truth is always further left. Okay, if you're going further left, if you're more leftist than the Dems, then you're probably on the right track, probably. Unless you're a fucking Hojavist. If you're a Hojavist, then I'm running. Okay, I'm running the fuck away from you.
By knowing what their biases are. So you take like what they say, that's what they don't, like, kind of like what they don't say. But whenever like there's a conflict between two different stories, you try to find like the one thing that they both agree on. You can more or less tell that's true, and then you can kind of infer everything else, whether it's true or not, just based on the angle that person what would be like the most beneficial for them and like their side, basically. Yeah. But it would be. So that's kind of like how I go about things, but it's a pain. I'm gonna admit it's a pain.
On explaining why you shouldn't just trust them blindly all the time. I don't want to reinvent the wheel too hard here, but the general point is that it's been proven many times that the percentage chance of something to happen has very little relation.
Yeah, you know that she's wrong because that would mean that immigration is a huge issue. It's a huge issue. It's a big problem. And that's just not the case. You know, that's not real. Okay? Democrats think that immigration is like something that they need to message. Right? They need to like they need to like message it to get support, to get voters. And it's just not true. You know, it's just fucking lies. It's xenophobia. Anyway,
of the media to report on that thing. Instead, we have a thing called reporting bias, and that's kind of what we saw with the January 6th narrative. There was a very heavy reporting bias with a very heavy orange man bad narrative behind it. Which, to be fair, what happened on January 6th was in fact an example of Trump kind of being an idiot. It just wasn't a serious insurrection attempt, and that's where the obsessed narrative comes from. But anyway, Destiny then kind of does go into my January 6th video, so let's skip to that. But before I do, I need to point out one very simple thing, which is that Destiny actually cut out my video on TDS and stopped watching it before I got.
And by the way, before I am listening, okay, but I was just thinking, and not every Democrat messages that. They don't all say that. In fact, I would go as far as to say most Democrats are not very xenophobic, and they don't, you know, say shit about brown people being bad, okay? But legacy Democrats do. High-ranking Democrats do. Kamala did. Kamala did that shit. Okay? It's the truth, okay? That's it.
my main point, which was that the main problem with TDS is that it prevents real criticism of Donald Trump from happening. Now, whether Destiny did that intentionally or not, that's a little bit hard to judge, but it is very suspicious. And this is another thing with kind of the React sloppers.
I guess he's saying that it's possible that it's possible that it was pre-watched and then he just ignored the part that was inconvenient, possibly. I don't know.
Sometimes they'll pre-watch something. Honestly, you should pre-watch things so that way you get the full argument. But they'll pre-watch it and then try and come up with some argument ahead of time. And if they see that they find an argument that they can't actually refute, they just won't watch the whole thing. And so one possibility here is that he cut my video out in order to make it seem like I'm some general Republican who always sides with Trump on every issue, when I'm absolutely not. You know, just a little bit suspicious there, a little bit dishonest. Just a little bit. But anyways, next one. The January 6th Capitol riot was many bad things, but calling it a coup is a really dishonest stretch of reality, and it's also completely inconsistent with the evidence of fact we have. First off,
I am not like, we are not a monolith. I am not like all the other, Democrats, they think they know all the Republican people. But we are not a monolith. That kind of vibe. Oh man, like, Mentis, just like, my message to you is the same message I have for every other libertarian. Just own it. Just own it, dog. Just like, draw a line in the sand. You hate brown people. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much where it ends. Okay, like come on. Just do what all the other Republicans are doing, man. Like, you're never gonna grow your channel like this. Being wishy-washy. I'm not like a Republican. I'm not a Trump Republican. I'm not a MAGA. Like, come on, man. Just get with the program, man. Either get with it or get out of the fucking way. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Okay, let's start forming definition links. Are we going to consult old Supreme Court cases? Are we going to consult any of the historical record anywhere? Are we going to consult anything that was written by any scholars or current legal people or the Colorado Supreme Court maybe that's like currently ruled on or talk about this? Or are we going to just make up our own fun definition? Let's find out.
Really important because I used to debate for this.
Oh yeah, or no, this is how I debate, right? Or we're gonna go to the dictionary. My bad. Don't ever rule out the dictionary. Okay, that's a good source of truth as well.
Let's first start with forming a definition of what an insurrection is. This is really important because I used to debate for this. Argue was an insurrection was simply disruption of the peaceful transfer of power. This is
a disruption of the peaceful transfer of power. That's the only thing I said. Oh, and this is my Alex Jones thing. I don't know if I read the paper right now. Speaking on such definitions, I'm not asking you technically, that would also still count as insurrection. Just the name statement behind this paper is actually allowing you to limit definition that this is much you must be protested by it also said that the argument of disruption of the peaceful transfer of power. While Russian collusion was turned out to be a giant nothing murder, whereas the report specifically stated did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government. It's like,
oh shit.
Conservative slap.
What?
I see that right
there. About my chat, man. Yo, why do I always
That's
do
actually
this?
fucking incredible, man.
Is why I'm not entirely sure if he pre-watched it or not.
That's
I wasn't
incredible.
joking. It's legitimately hard.
Alright, conservative slap.
What?
I see that right here. Like about the election results, such as the leftist anti-for lies that happened during Trump's term, could also be subjectively argued to be a disruption of the peaceful transfer of power. While Russian collusion was turned out to be a giant nothing murder, whereas the report specifically stated did not establish that members of the Trump campaign conspired or coordinated with the Russian government. It's like,
this is just retarded conservative slap.
What?
I see that right here.
Yeah, alright. So he said a lot of stuff there about, I think he was talking about Trump's international policy, and, Destiny does do that thing where he, just, like, dismisses people for no reason. Other than that, he has no, like, retort. But anyway, he's kind of right, though, about it being slop. Mentis Wave is conservative slop, okay, because it's a lot of word vomit, like he does, okay? He doesn't... Like, the thing about me, the thing about J-Star, is, I try to communicate as much as possible with as little, words. Few word. Why use long word when few word do trick? You know, that, like, sorry. I've actually never seen The Office. I've actually never watched it. But I know the clips. Okay? But anyway, I try to not word vomit, okay? Because it sucks when people do that. It's not just hard to understand them, it's hard to have a conversation. Okay, because you have to spend a lot of time, like, interpreting their large number of words, okay, so that you don't miss anything. Okay, and it's hard. It's hard to conversate with someone like that, and that's why I don't want to be like that. I don't want to do that. Okay, that's why I try not to ramble. I try not to rant. I try to be conscientious of the words that I use. Mentis Wave does not do that. He makes a particular type of content. He actually makes content like Destiny, okay? Like pseudo-intellectual slop, okay? That's it. Like the thing about Destiny is he makes slop too, okay? He does. He does. And I kind of make slop, but I'm making a different kind of slop here on the J-Star broadcast, okay? I am. I'm doing it different, okay? Because my like the thesis, right, or like the big picture behind my channel, behind my streams, is like mass consuming as much slop as I can stand, okay, and reacting to it and getting like as much hours of footage of me reacting to this bullshit as I possibly can, man, because goddamn, I'm gonna look back on this and I'm gonna think like we used to be a country, damn it, before the lizard people shed their skin suits and revealed their true Lovecraftian horror, their true nature. Yeah. Anyway, back to this. Well,
that's actually fucking incredible, man.
Is why I'm not entirely sure if he pre-watched it or not.
That's
I wasn't
incredible.
joking. It's legitimately hard to tell. Because right there, Destiny's argument was he was complaining, oh...
I hate the pre-watch allegations. Because, like, so what? So fucking what? Like, you don't pre-watch shit. Okay, I know all these motherfuckers do. The thing is, like, I swear, I'm not lying. I have never pre-watched anything on my channel unless I disclosed it. Okay, of course. Because sometimes I will watch a little bit off stream. Because I do this because I want to decide if I actually want to react to it. Okay. Some days I need something interesting. Other days I'm content with whatever, bullshit video you put in front of me. But like a lot of days I need to I need something that I can like actually follow without having to try too hard. I need something engaging. That's what I'm saying. And usually I can tell just based off the title alone if I'm gonna like enjoy or like pay attention to the video. But other times I have to like kind of think about it, and I have to like watch a little bit of the video, and so that's why like sometimes I'll be like, yeah, I watched like the first minute or two of this video off stream. So it happens, but anyway, it's just you accuse Destiny of being bad faith, and then in the same breath you accuse him of pre-watching. Like, I think that's kind of bad faith, man. I don't see any legitimate evidence other than that he effectively communicated around your position, right? Which, again, I don't want to glaze Destiny. I don't want to like say good job to Destiny. Okay, he sucks. He does. He's bad at debating too. And I've said that before. But like, anyway, it's just true. Okay, like that's what happened. And so you're like, he pre-watched. Like, nah, buddy, I don't think he did. I like you're not that difficult to understand. Your words are not that big brained. Like I have met people with significantly more expansive vocabularies than you, and I've seen Destiny debate him. Okay, his name is Ben Shapiro, and that's why he lost to Ben Shapiro, because Ben Shapiro fucking I mean, he shouldn't have lost. I'm not going to talk about it again, okay? I've already talked about those debates so many fucking times. Because you have to understand, like, it's burned in my memory. I hate it. I hate it. I can never forget. Anyway, let's keep
going to make up some random definition for what an insurrection is that has no basis in reality, and then argue why it wasn't an insurrection based on that. And what Destiny didn't realize is that he was actually refuting his own argument, because his own flip-flopping on the definition of insurrection was the main example I used in my January 6th video, of someone just kind of nonchalantly making up a definition of what an insurrection is. And of course, Destiny didn't even have a valid report today. He just said, oh, this is conservative.
Yeah, I mean, why? I didn't even know that that's what we were arguing about. Like, I'm so dumb, bro. I didn't even fucking realize. But, like, how can you think this? How can you think it wasn't an insurrection? I genuinely don't understand, dude. Like, that... Like, what? Civil authority or an established government. Like... I don't know. I don't know what to say anymore.
And then closes my video.
It wasn't an insurrection. It wasn't. It was, okay, buddy.
Himself
okay.
And then completely hand waves
gotcha.
away.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Sadly,
yeah.
this is honestly
yeah.
the worst job that even Bush did. When Bush tried to respond to one of my videos, I mean, at least Bush kind of pretended to engage with my arguments in regards to positive and negative freedom. He didn't really engage with it, but at least he pretended to. Whereas Destiny is just,
My Uncle Cletus said that the Patriots are in charge. It was not an insurrection, brother. We had to fight against the reptilian army.
This is a close video. So yeah, that was pretty bad, to be honest. But hopefully you guys had some fun watching me dunk on it. And more importantly, I hope...
You know what would be great, actually, is a Destiny versus Mentis debate. That would be sick. But I don't know if Mentis is a debate.
I was just saying that. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think Mentis really is a debater. Yeah. Nah, I don't think it's gonna happen, Leaflet. But honestly, unironically, I think it would be a good idea for Mentis, because as I've said before, Destiny is a shit debater, and not only is he really bad at debating, he has an inflated ego. Okay, he thinks very highly of himself, and it's perfect. It's perfect. He, like, unironically, I don't know if there are clips of him getting annihilated and I just haven't seen them. Okay, I mean, I've seen some of them, right? But, like, I feel like there's not a lot of like, Destiny, you know, leftist-owned compilations. Like, I don't know. But, like, you could do it. You could do it, man. I'm telling you. You don't have to be that good. You really don't.
Right? It's kind of different to, like, debating is different from having a commentary, I think. But I would love to see it if Mentis was down to, like, actually debate Destiny. That'd be sick.
Okay,
why is this watching this? Why is this something about the general problem?
Because then it's not really like you're talking about a person and then they make a video. It's like kind of, there's really no chance to get like into the kind of the fine details of like an argument, right? It's just like a big argument and then like a big rebuttal and then a big argument and a big rebuttal, and it's kind of like a lot of the times they're gonna be talking past each other. So like I think it'd be not only talking past each other, but then you aren't held accountable for like the things that you believe, right? They're not actually gonna be able to like, you know, scrutinize your standard. You're not gonna be able to do like a real what's the word I'm looking for? You're gonna be able to deconstruct the argument and have like an actual scrutiny of like the actual thing that they said in a thing like this. So like I think it'd be really interesting to actually see Mentis go up against Destiny and actually have that time to scrutinize each other's arguments. That'd be really fun, actually.
It's the kind of content that Destiny makes. Reaction swapping very rarely results in good arguments being made. It tends to lean itself being based more on emotion and rhetoric than actually being correct. For instance, one thing you might have seen when watching the clips of Destiny, or if you watch the whole video of his, you notice that he gets really, really emotional at times. And then he uses that to kind of hand wave away the arguments he's being met with without really engaging with them. And it's just not good content, at least not for getting a point across. I mean, it's good content if you just want to earn a lot of money from a lot of ad revenue, because ad revenue doesn't really care about the quality of your work, it just cares about the quantity. But aside from that, live reaction swap stuff is really not something you should be getting your politics or takes from. I've seen a lot of this kind of content. Admittedly, sometimes it can be a little bit entertaining, but it's almost always filled with various fallacies and misconceptions and just completely missing the point. And of course, the standard pausing the video.
It's kind of what I... Oh my god, I literally paused the video as he said, and the standard pausing the video, and I literally hit pause. This is fucked up. This is so fucked up, bro. This is so fucked up. I was gonna have a good point here. I was gonna say, like, this is why, like, having, like, an actual, like, debate between two people is, like, a good thing. Oh my god. Well, I don't want to keep playing the video when I'm gonna say a point about a thing. Oh, man.
before.
Well, to be fair, how do you do? Well, I guess like the way you would do a react is you would have to pre-watch it. But see, so it would be okay. Let me go into this actually, like for real, like as like an. Let's examine the idea, okay? So like if I were to actually like pre-watch it, what are the benefits of pre-watching it? The benefits would be that yeah, you would be able to have better arguments. You'd have prepared arguments. The other thing is that so let's kind of go into it, right? So if you were to actually pre-watch the video, the pros are you would have better arguments. You would have like kind of pre-scripted arguments. You'd be able to like kind of sit down and think about it more, and then like have like much stronger rebuttals. In addition, you are able to like hear their entire argument before you actually finish up your commentary, because you might be writing. I mean, you're gonna do the same thing, right? You're gonna write it down. You're gonna be like, oh, he said this. Okay, this. Oh, he said this. You're gonna take notes like that, right? But then when they finish the argument, you can kind of go back and revise your notes and like revise your statements like based on like what they said. So you have more time to actually like, digest like what they're saying, right? Now, the thing I think that. So now let's take the other side of it, which is live reacting, right? Whereas in like I've never seen this before, not pre-watched. Like let's watch it together. I think that has value as well in terms of like feeling like you're watching it for the first time with other people and seeing the thought process. Does that make sense? You'd be able to
as long as you aren't deceiving your audience, pre-watching is fine. Okay, obviously. It's just two different types of content. Okay, but if, you know, the only problem is if you pre-watch and you try to make it seem like you didn't. Okay, that's a problem. That's misleading. It's wrong. But anyway. Why the fuck are we talking about? Why does this matter?
The thought process in real time. It wouldn't be like, okay, like this, and then point A, point B, point A, B, C, D, E, F, and then you said this, and then like, I counter that, counter. It's kind of like, I think, interesting as well to see the real time like processing of the thing happening on top of just it being like, and I think this is a thing about live streams that's like different from like long form content, short form content. The thing that's different about live streams is like you're hanging out watching it with your friend. Does that make sense? So like if you're hanging out watching it with your friend, but your friend already pre-watched everything, it's like not as fun. So like you don't feel like as part of like the experience of like seeing the thing. Does that make sense? And also, like, let's say that you already did watch the video, which that is the case for a lot of people, like, you already watched the video. It's kind of interesting to see the person come to their own conclusion when you already have your conclusion. So you want to see, like, okay, like, what can this different perspective from a different person who isn't me? I want to see, like, the steps and logic that they take and the pathing that their mind takes. I think those are really interesting. Argo says we're not friends. If it's not healthy to think that. Well, in a sense of, like, okay, so first off, in a sense of, like, being friends with a person in, like, real life, yes, that's true. Right, but then the thing is I hang out with you guys all the time. So like some people in chat I would consider to be friends on a like kind of more like internet-y level. Like I don't really think so. I'm not like, oh, yo, everyone in chat, we're like best friends, let's go hang out. No, that's not what I'm talking about. But like you have your friend group that you hang out with online that you don't like. For instance, if you play like an MMO, right? You would have like friends that you meet in an MMO. You see them every day, or you see people on your server every day, but then you're not really like close enough to be like friends in person. It's kind of like that. Yeah, internet friends. And I feel like I don't know, maybe there's not a word for that, but I think that there is some merit to that as well. Yeah. This parasocial relationship.
No, yeah, I was about to say there is a word for it. That's that's what it is. Okay, but anyway, parasocial relationships can be valuable. They can be valuable things, and you can even get to know somebody personally within the context of a parasocial relationship. I think. Actually, am I thinking of something else? Hold on. Okay, never mind, no. Yeah, I thought I was dumb when I was saying that, yeah. Yeah, no, a parasocial relationship is, I believe, exclusively a one-sided relationship. Anyway, what you are describing is just friendship. Okay, friendship. You make friends online. Those are real friends. Like, just because you met them online doesn't mean anyway. It doesn't matter. Why the fuck are we talking about this?
Well, I already said like I don't really want to hang out with anybody in real life. I'm never going to a convention. I'm never doing any of that with anybody. So
Yeah. All right. Cool.